They got a little horror standoff. They're very, it's okay. Why can't you guys just be friends? I don't know. I didn't put it there.
Yeah, you guys did. You scared them away.
Still in the yard though. Check out this as I go to watch the movie for the podcast. It says Happy Spring. Woohoo. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast. I'm not going to call it pandemic podcast. I don't know. I think that's what I'll just have in the title, but it's just, whatever. Okay, anyway, so today we are watching our first animated movie, I guess. I don't really know what this is that I'm doing here. I'm just kind of so I knew that this was the next movie that I wanted to do for a while. I don't really have a reason. I don't really know why I'm picking the movies that I am. I'm just kind of like I'm just trying to think like if you were to show Aliens, like all the movies that we have, what order would they go in? But anyway, so we're doing Toy Story next. It's the first Pixar movie. It's something that like really kickstarted the whole animated movie, like the anime movie thing, especially like 3D animation. Now, I'm not actually that familiar with this movie. I know that I saw it when I was like really young, but I don't really remember much of it. But anyway, I'm watching this on Disney Plus. If you have your own copy of it somewhere, whether on Disney Plus or a DVD or whatever, put the timer start to 0 and press play. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, it took like a moment to load there, but whatever. So, all right. Oh, this is the Disney intro, like Disney being a castle. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, I mean, Jurassic Park, I wasn't really that familiar with either, and honestly, I hate to say it, but I was pretty underwhelmed by it. I didn't really expect myself to be into it, and I wasn't really. I don't really have like a well thought out reason for why I don't really like it. I don't know. I guess it just didn't click with me. I guess it's just because I'm so used to dinosaurs already, so it didn't really blow my mind. Like, oh my God, CGI dinosaurs, or were they even CGI or whatever? The classic light bulb Pixar opening. I think I saw like a video somewhere saying why is it a light bulb? Like you can just find anything on YouTube these days. Isn't it saying like if you started watching every single YouTube video that was ever uploaded at the Big Bang, by the time that you reach today, you wouldn't have even made it through 1% of the videos. That's how much entertainment there is out there. And that's just the YouTube videos. That's not even and like who knows? Maybe like I don't know if that means like every video that was ever uploaded to YouTube or just videos that are up now, because some get deleted and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure that some people have tried to upload, like, say, the entirety of Toy Story only to have it instantly deleted, but would that count in the mix? And of course, there'd be re-uploads of videos, so you'd get to see them more than once sometimes. I don't know, who knows? I know what this isn't to do with the movie, but it's just something that really fascinates me. Because, say, like, the first Smosh video that was them lip syncing the Pokemon theme song, that would be somewhere in your first days, I assume, because it's one of the first videos ever uploaded to YouTube. But by the time that you even reach like the re-uploads of it after it was deleted, like would you have even watched the re-uploads by the time they reach today? Are those in the first 1% of the videos? Or you could just have them in a random order rather than in continuously order, but then you'd be able to see the evolution, although then again the evolution would be so slow. Anyway, so Toy Story is in the national film industry. Not surprised about that. It definitely did change stuff. I think I did tell you guys about how, there was an experiment to see which movie was the most influential movie, and it was kind of flawed because all they went by is counting how many times a certain movie was referenced in other movies, and the most influential one turned out to be The Wizard of Oz. But, like, of course it did because that's an old one. Like, who knows? Maybe Toy Story will be referenced more over the years, but it's just newer. I don't know. There was like I don't know what movie it is. If you know, let me know. Maybe it's one of the Jurassic Park sequels. I don't know. Or maybe it's Jurassic Park itself and I just wasn't paying attention at all. But like, no, I don't think it was because it was like a kid flying in a plane and then he asks like some guy like, "What's your favorite movie?" He's trying to start a conversation with him and he says like very intimidatingly like Toy Story. And the guy behind him is like the first or the second one. It's like, mate, no, there's four. Nitpicks made a pretty interesting video about why Toy Story 4 sucks. I haven't seen Toy Story 4, but apparently part of it is that the Toy Story movies, up until the fourth one, grew with their audience, you know? Like the first Toy Story is the main kid is a kid. And then in Toy Story 2, it's apparently with him like growing up and not really needing toys anymore. Then Toy Story 3 is him going to college, and then Toy Story 4 is just kind of a year later, even though it was made 9 years later. So it kind of stopped syncing up the movie timeline with today's timeline. Joss Whedon made the screenplay? Wow. Okay. You know, the pitch meeting for this, like Screen Rant, Ryan George's pitch meeting for this said that the humans were like monstrosities, but they don't really look that bad. I know the villain looks creepy, but I think that's because he's the villain. I wonder, like, it's so weird to think, like, were people's minds blown when the toys came to life? Because, like, I know that they probably saw the trailers or whatever, but, like, it was 1995, like, trailers weren't really being broadcasted on YouTube and the internet, so there's a chance that there were a lot of people that just kind of walked into the theater, never heard of this movie, and were just like, hey, Toy Story, that sounds cool, whatever. Probably a kid's movie. Because if you like had never heard of this movie and then you hear, oh, this is a movie called Toy Story, you probably would assume that it's for kids. But still, like, and it is for kids, but it's like kind of impressive in its own right, isn't it? Like even the piggy bank comes to life. What the hell? And Mr. Potato Head. Was Mr. Potato Head spawned from Toy Story, or was Mr. Potato Head was it a thing before Toy Story, or is it like exclusive to Toy Story? Because I have Mr. Potato Head, but like by the time that I was born, this movie had already been out for quite a few years, so I don't know. It's weird to think, like, were people's minds blown by this concept of toys coming to life? But then again, it was only 1995. It was literally just 10, 25 years ago. Jeez. What about the dog Slinky? Like, I think like the dog Slinky is exclusive to Toy Story, but was the concept of any toy like that with a Slinky in the middle exclusive? What about that draw? Like, I doubt that that's exclusive to Toy Story, right? Because they're trying to reference different toys here. Like, like the Woody is definitely exclusive to Toy Story, but maybe like the cowboy thing is. Unless, who knows, maybe Woody was a thing and then Disney just bought the rights to it. Even if we think that it's exclusive to Toy Story, maybe we don't know some hidden thing that happened once back in the day. Someone made Woody and then they just kind of convinced them to buy the rights or whatever. Maybe he was just maybe some guy like tried to pitch the Woody toy, but he got turned down, and then he bumped into the guy making this movie, and he said, "Hey, we'll do this." I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe there is documentation of something like that happening. Who knows? So weird. That line is disturbing. Suddenly, it doesn't seem like a kid's movie anymore. Just 25 years ago, that line was probably insanely frowned upon. But nowadays, who knows about? There we go. I figured that there might be a toy that's like those little, like a doll within a doll, within a doll, those kind of toys. It's like 4 or 5 layers. I really want to see like a toy. Like what's the biggest version of that toy? I don't even know what that toy is called, where it's a doll within a doll within a doll within a doll within a doll. But like, what's the biggest version of that? It's probably like, the size of a building, all the way down to like the size of an ant. Like, who knows how many that would be? Like depending on how thick the layers are, you could fit in a lot. But you'd have to have it pretty thick, I assume, for the biggest one to have it even be stable. I don't know. I know triangles are the biggest structures. I kind of get that now, but when I first heard that in science class, I was like, wait, what? How are triangles the biggest structures? But like, it's not really that triangles are the strongest structures. It's just like a series of triangles, like a right side up triangle followed by an upside down triangle. I'm glad I figured out how to put the subtitles on, so now I'm able to keep track of what's going on even when I'm talking. Smedge is here. Smedge is blocking my view. Here we go. That's the kid's birthday. Here, Smudge, say hi to everyone. I don't think he wants to say hi. I'm always worried that Smudge is just gonna jump. Like, he looks like he's just gonna step, but sometimes he, like, jumps and then knocks a whole bunch of stuff over. I don't know. I sometimes think that my Smudgy, my little cat thing, is unique, like, unique in his behavior. But a lot of people do, like, say, like, all cats meow like a jerk whenever they aren't fed. Sorry, this has nothing to do with the movie. I was just talking. Wait, I saw that scene where Woody said that. I saw that scene in a Toy Story documentary. I thought it was from Toy Story 2 and it was about the kid growing up. This is Toy Story 1, right? It's gotta be. Yeah, okay, because here's Buzz Lightyear and a little present, I assume. Because I know that Woody and Buzz Lightyear, they have like a little rivalry thing. Well, little, quote unquote. My phone alarm went off and Smudge is like, what the heck was that? I don't really understand. Like Disney Plus has gone insane. Like it's not just the MCU that's insane anymore, it's everything. Because like Disney Plus has this little Toy Story collection thing, and it's got all four Toy Stories, but then it's also got freaking like Forky Asks a Question, which I think is like a series of shorts. There's like a ton of them. And it's not just like a single TV series and then you can go and see the episode list. It's like it's almost as if they're all treated like their own movie. Like what the heck? Imagine if you could only take like four movies or whatever, 10 movies, whatever, from Disney Plus. And imagine if you waste one of those on one of the Forky Asks a Question or worse, multiple. Like, who knows? This is like, I'm not sure if I mentioned this. This is like the first movie that's actually just an hour and 21 minutes, apparently, and is not freaking 2.5 hours. I remember these green soldier guys. I think they were my favorite as a kid. I don't know. That sounds weird. I'm not actually sure if they were my favorite, but it's just like I found like the concept of them like so strange. I was just like, a bunch of little green soldier guys, but their feet are like stuck together. So like, what the hell? Wait, what? Wait, why do they want to know what's inside the presents? They need to know if they're toys or not. Because isn't it like like there's a lot of questions like like at what point in the Toy Story in the toy making process does the toys become sentient and do the toy makers not even realize what they're doing? Like, what if they end up like completing a toy and it becomes sentient, but then they make adjustments to it and it ends up being extremely painful? Like what the heck? Like, I like in Toy Story 4, I take it what happens is that a girl like just takes a fork and or a spork or whatever and then glues some googly eyes and some pipe cleaners to it, and then once it's officially become a toy that she can play with, it suddenly becomes sentient, suicidal or something. I don't know. On Wikipedia, it says all four films have received universal acclaim from critics and audiences. The first two films were re-released in theaters as Disney Digital 3D double feature for at least 2 weeks in October 2009 as a promotion for the then upcoming third film. Why are they hiding in the grass? Where the frick are? Oh, they're in a plant. They're in a plant. Okay. Sorry. I know that I should be paying more attention. I was like, what the hell? I thought they were listening to a freaking radio broadcast, which I guess they kind of are, but like, obviously not. Humans on the other end. Yeah. Sorry to get insanely deep on this, but I find it so unfortunate that we live in a world where living things have to survive by eating other living things, you know? Like we consider it morally wrong to hurt a human or let a human come to harm. But at the same time, like we always like like we say like cannibalism is wrong. Imagine if you just skipped ahead in a Toy Story podcast and hear me talking about cannibalism. Like at the same time, like I feel like, hopefully in the future we figure out how to truly treat all species as an equal. But then if we did that, it would come to a point where literally eating anything, like even eating a plant would be considered cannibalism. Because it's not a matter of, like it would be like we're all living things, so is it right to eat anything? But we all have to survive by eating other things. So it's like we'd have to create artificial nutritions or whatever. And then we have a whole bunch of religious people saying, no, this is against God and all that crap. I don't know. Is that Buzz Lightyear? The spaceship, space astronaut guy? Buzz Lightyear was in an Among Us fan video. It was Among Us, but it's a reality show 3. It is weird because Nitpicks made a video saying like why Toy Story 4 is the worst Toy Story movie, and it is kind of weird because apparently I had no idea that this was the case, but I randomly Googled it once and found out that Toy Story 1 and 2 both have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. That information ended up helping me on a Kahoot question. It was like how many Toy Story movies have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I said 2. And then Toy Story 3 has like 98%, and then Toy Story 4 has 97%. So in a weird roundabout way, the critics agree that Toy Story 4 is quote unquote the worst one, even though they still consider it very, very good. Even though it is weird, because it's not like the critics come to a universal consensus that Toy Story 4 is 97%. It's like, that was most people saying it was good, and then like one or two saying it was bad. It was weird that Woody fell off the bed. Like, was that on accident or on purpose to get out of the way or whatever? Like, I remember when I was a kid and I had a little toy. It was really cool. It was like this little cheese block. It wasn't actually cheese. It was like just kind of a little metal cheese block, but it had a little doorway in it and there was a toy mouse that I could put in and then I could like let it out of the cheese block and it would go flying. Well, not flying, it would just kind of run across the floor. But I remember once the mouse disappeared. I have no idea what happened to the cheese block. Maybe it's in the basement or whatever. But I never found the mouse again. And it like really concerned me. It was like my little blue hat that I lost. And I remember my grade 4 teacher was like, he was like, who needs a detective? And I was like, yeah, I need to find my blue hat. And he's like, well, we're gonna clean out the cubbies and find all our crap. And the blue hat wasn't there because I had lost it ages ago. Oh, here's Buzz. Because like Buzz doesn't realize that he's a toy or something. Oh, what the hell? That looks creepy as hell. That's a more creepier design than any of the human faces. Nitpicks did a good video of the history of Pixar. He did a good video on the history of Pixar, and he's like, so the first movie that they ever made was Toy Story, which is super iconic. And then imagine, and like the next one was A Bug's Life, which honestly I don't think I've even heard of. But like, it's like, could you imagine having to make the way that he worded it was, could you imagine having to make a follow-up movie after you had just made Toy Story? It's like, yeah, like could you imagine? Like you put all this work into making a movie, and then it ends up being one of the greatest movies ever, according to most people. And then immediately you're just told, okay, make another movie. It's like, what the frick, mate? Kevin Feige's set for life. He's got like all this MCU stuff. He's a sheriff. Smedge sucking on the blanket like he always does. It's okay, Smedge. Yeah, I'll see if I can grab a little clip of him. I'll stick the clip of Smudge sucking on the blanket at the end of the video. Why are you glad he's not a dinosaur? You're a freaking T-Rex, man. Or is that his arc? Is that he doesn't realize that he's a dinosaur either? I mean, he's not really a dinosaur. He's a toy dinosaur, but whatever. Wait, what? Can Woody control that string at his back? Like, whenever he pulls the string, he's supposed to say something, but can he control it when he's alive? That's probably like a setup for something. Imagine if it said on the box, like, warning, this toy might not actually realize it's a toy. Because like the creator's fault. They put a little joke on the box and ended up making this whole conflict, which ended up being one of the greatest movies of all time. I feel like I'm just gonna repeat a lot of ideas in here, but like it's just because I keep thinking of them. Like, what if something that could have been a movie actually happens? Like, who knows how many times that has actually happened? But like, of course, no one gets to film it, or they only get to film tiny parts of it. The best that it could end up being is like a documentary, but even then, it wouldn't grab like everything. Or they'd end up like making a little whatever. They'd like make like a little fictional movie based on a true story or whatever. So there's a new Toy Story movie called Lightyear coming out in 2022. The film will be released on June 17th, 2022. Sure, man. I'm sure it won't be delayed at all. There's Buzz Lightyear of Star Command: The Adventure Begins, made in 2000. Is that like his origin story? There's Toy Story Treats is a television series. Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, Toy Story Tunes, and Forky Asks a Question. Toy Story of Terror and Toy Story That Time Forgot. The hell? Lamp Life is a short film. Jesus, like Toy Story really, like, I'm sure there are a lot of movies out there that are iconic and just like they just made one movie and that was it. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, they should have stopped at one Toy Story. Obviously not, since the other three are considered good too. And he falls to his death. Oh, he hits a ball. Imagine if Buzz just fell to his death right there. We could have avoided this whole conflict. I kind of feel bad for Woody here because I think the conflict that ends up happening is that Woody used to be Andy's favorite toy, but now Buzz is going to end up being his favorite toy. Buzz is like, damn it, I just landed exactly where I was. Oh, or whatever. I mean, it wasn't really falling with style because he did fall upward a lot of times. Did you see like those like marble runs, like those huge videos of like, well, like, they're only like 8 minutes, but it's like a huge marble run and it's like set up, because obviously marbles have to keep on running downward. So the way that he does it is that he has it like near the roof on the top floor of his building, and then he has the marble run slowly make its way down to the bottom near the floor. And then as soon as he's about to run out, he makes the marble run go down the stairs and then the next stairs and stuff like that. He keeps on going for as long as he can. And there are like a few elevators that take the marbles up that take the marbles up a little bit or whatever. What the hell was that? Did Buzz just slap Woody? Was that on purpose or was it like whatever? Oh man, this is just tragic. This is just depressing. I can't even look. Guys, I have my eyes closed right now because this is just depressing. I can't even look at this. This reminds me of freaking Boss Baby. I didn't see the entirety of the Boss Baby movie, but I was on a plane like a year or two ago, and I was blown away by the fact that like there was like a whole bunch of stuff to watch on TV on the computer in front of me. Like there was a guy diagonally across from me, and he was watching freaking Aquaman. So I just turned on Boss Baby, and I only got to see like the first half hour, but the scene where the kid like he has nightmares of the baby, or I don't think it is a nightmare. It's just like kind of an exaggerated reality of the baby, pictures of the baby, and there's not really the parents aren't really focusing on him anymore. It's just like, geez, man, like I hate that stuff as a kid. So many things traumatized me as a kid. That guy on the plane who was watching Aquaman, he was so freaking weird because he had like gone on and he's just like talking to the flight attendant, and he's just like, "What are you doing there?" And she's just like, "I'm just like waiting for everyone to sit down." He's like, "Oh, you're just chilling? Okay." And then he's like trying to be cool on the entire flight. And I don't think that he had ever been on a plane before. Because you know how when a plane goes under the runway, how it's like descends and it descends. And then it's like it starts slowly, like just barely hovering above the ground. And it looks like you've hit the ground. And then all of a sudden the plane does actually hit the ground. And then it's like the plane, like, you know, bumps. I love being with Jamie McCrimmon on a plane. And I'd be like, all right, mate, hold my hand. The plane's going to do a little bump. Just be ready for it. It's nothing. It's like, oh, blimey, mate. Oh, I see what you mean. But like the guy, as soon as that little rumble happened, the guy was like, whoa. So either he's never been on a plane before or he just completely forgot about that. To be fair, I probably would have forgotten about that by now if it weren't for that story. That guy. Oh, he's got his freaking name on his. Does he not want to take off to space? Well, hey, Woody, like, you got it too. It's not like Buzz Lightyear got it, but not you. It's both his favorite toy or whatever. I have a whole bunch of toys in the basement. I know that the morally correct thing to do would be to give them away to some child who would like them, but like, well, like, not that I don't like them, but like ones that might play with them more. But it's like, I can't bear the thought of giving them away. It's like I've had them my whole childhood. I don't want to give them away. It's like, what if they come to life and what if they really just are sick of being stuck in the basement? Don't they have themselves to play with? I don't know. Why do the toy blocks not come to life? It could like the little bee block could like it's like two little eyelids because a bee sideways is like two little bumps. I remember like whenever I'm like telling someone my name and they're asking me how to spell it so that they can write it down, I say like the last letter of my name is M, but they always think it's N, and I just say no, it's M, double bump. You know, I'd rather it actually be an M and they mistake it for an N than the other way around because if they wrote down an M when I said N, it's a lot harder to get rid of a bump than it is to add one with a pen especially. Did the freaking why did the frames like stop for a moment? It seemed like it was gonna load for a bit. Who's the real Buzz Lightyear? Doesn't he have some alien toys or whatever? Don't alien toys come into the mix somewhere? Oh, Sid is a villain, isn't he? Kicked him out early this year. Jesus. You know, as a kid, I never liked going to summer camp. I just wanted to be left alone and do my own thing. Now I'd love to go to summer camp, meet some people. I just didn't like the idea of like being like imprisoned away from my house. You know, which is kind of like, I was like, I already get that from school or whatever. I kind of wish I did go. I guess I'm a bit old to go now, even if I wanted to. That dog animation wasn't bad. You know, like for the first big high-tech 3D animation movie that I think this is, it's actually pretty good. Like no wonder people loved it. Like I was wondering like if everything about it was the same quality, like the story and the writing and stuff like that, the voice acting, but the animation really sucked. Like what would have happened? Like who knows? Maybe Toy Story would still be considered iconic, but it's like it wouldn't have kickstarted the animation saga. Or maybe it'd just be considered an okay movie with bad animation. Or like how bad would the animation have to be for it to can be considered ruining the entire movie? Like, even if it was storyboard crap, would that be considered? I'm like, I don't know, who knows? Because, like, Bo Peep over there, apparently she doesn't even appear in the third movie, and everyone was like, where the heck is she? And then Toy Story 4, they're like, see, she was away, and she had her little subplot, and now she's hecka strong or whatever. I don't even get it. Pizza Planet. I want to go there. What is? Wait, hang on. I want to look this up. Well, Magic 8 Ball. Hey, I have a Magic 9 ball now, and it's like a Magic 8 ball. I have a Magic 9 ball, but it's like designed to give sarcastic answers, like duh, or like seriously, or like ask again some other time or whatever, which I think is an actual answer of the Magic 8 ball. How many answers do the Magic 8 balls have? Because it looks like a triangle dice, but I doubt that there's only four answers. There might be like eight or whatever. It might be like the diamond triangle box, like the diamond dice, but with triangle faces. I'm going for half an hour, so I think I'm just gonna. You know what to do. You just keep your own copy going, and I'm just making a cut here, stopping now. All right. So, room is falling apart. I was gonna say because I was looking at like say. Sorry, I think I'm gonna mute myself saying that because apparently it's exclusive to exactly where I live, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to just give that information away, even though you can probably find it if you really digged or whatever. But who cares? It's like it's a little playland thing with like a bunch of mats and slides and all that stuff, and it was really cool. I remember I used to go there a lot as a kid, and I was upset when I had chicken pox for a week and I couldn't go. And nowadays, who knows? I really want to go full gangster. I visited my old school recently. I didn't actually go inside. I just looked around. The place hasn't changed a bit. It was really cool. But like, I could easily climb over the fence to get into the playground. Or I think there was like a gate around the back that I remembered from a kid. And I think the gate was just wide open. So if it was with other guys, we could have easily have just gone in and looked at the stuff. I don't think anyone would have stopped us. I don't think anyone was around. Who knows? Maybe we would have been accused of trespassing. Maybe a security camera would have gotten us. We would have been on a wanted poster. But hey, we can just change our outfit, change our look or whatever. Flee the country because we played on the playground for a bit. But like, I don't know. I always dream of a dream world where, like who cares? Like if someone's playing in your backyard, who cares? We're all human. We're all just trying to have fun. I know that just isn't the world that we live in, but I remain hopeful that one day it will be, or at the very least it could be. Wait, sorry, I wasn't paying attention to that scene. So they were all attacking Woody because they think that he did something to Buzz? There's my timer reminding me that I got like 3.5 hours before I have to go to work. And tomorrow I have to wake up because work starts at 6:30. I do it for 8 freaking hours, Jesus. I know, first world problems. You have a job. Good job. Wait, is Buzz trying to save Woody? Wait, what happened? Wait, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Did Buzz throw himself out of the window and then everyone blamed Woody for it? I remember I had monkeys in a barrel. Is that also exclusive to Toy Story, or was it out and Toy Story just had the rights to have it there? I don't know. Din Dinoco. Oh man, whenever I'm doing the gas, especially like with my parents, I'll still like always do it for them. They always made me do it as a kid. I don't think they made me do it, but it's just like I found it fun to do. And then it's just like, now I'm just like, why would I want to stop, eh? Especially in the summer, in the winter it can be cold. As a kid, I didn't mind the cold at all. I remember I was kind of a jerk. I was telling people like, pick a temperature. Don't be like, oh, it's too hot or oh, it's too cold. Just pick a temperature. It's like young me, but that's not how it works, you idiot. Does Buzz have something on his mask or whatever? Astronaut helmet thing? Oh, so Woody did shove him out the window. Okay. Yeah, I remember once when, like me and my step little brother and sister would always go to the park or whatever, but occasionally our little stepsister would always run away from us. And it's just like, it was our job to look after her. So it's like, it was kind of like, what the hell? So once we pretended to run away, but we didn't actually. We just ran away for like a few seconds, and we got in mega trouble for it. And my stepmom was just like, "You were trying to get revenge," and we were like, "Well, yeah," and also like teach her a lesson. Which is a bunch of bullcrap. I hate it when people are all like treating revenge like a horrible concept. When like, is it really like? First of all, I don't think that there's anyone who hasn't at least at some point wanted to give in to the idea of getting revenge. But also, is it really that bad of a concept? I know that we should never promote doing bad things to other people, even if they did a bad thing to us. But like seriously, like we can't just let people crap on us. Sometimes, like like if we were a god and had control over everything and could shape reality, then maybe we could figure out better ways to do it. But we're just fallible humans. Sometimes the only way that we can. Why did Woody flop down there? He could have easily have just stood up. And like they could have just thought that it was just like some sort of animated toy, which it is. Like the truck driver, I don't think that he's even paying attention. He'd probably think the toy. I don't know, like maybe the concept of a toy moving around like that at all would be ridiculous. I don't know. Oh yeah, they're moving too. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Damn it. I forgot what I was saying. Well, when I might just put up a caption or something continuing my thought, maybe. If that is, if future editing me can even remember what I was gonna say. I feel like that's a meme, isn't it? But you are a toy. Doesn't Woody say that to Forky or something in Toy Story 4? Again, I haven't seen the movie, but I feel like, it might be at least a reference or something. Is there going to be a Toy Story 5, or is that just Forky asks a question? Is it like, I think Pixar's like giving up on sequels or something like that. I don't even know. Because like Nitpick says, like, out of the first 10 movies that Pixar released, only one sequel was made out of necessity, being Toy Story 2. But of the latest 10 Pixar movies that were made at the time of the video's release, 6 of them have been sequels. I think that was before Toy Story 4. I think the video was made like as kind of a, you know, build up to Toy Story 4. I don't know. Talking about, Toy Story 4 is a sequel, and look how many times Pixar has made a sequel. I think Toy Story is the only Pixar franchise that made it to 4 movies. Is it the only one that made it to 3 movies as well? Oh no, Cars. Cars made it to 3 movies. So I was saying, like, Ice Age. Ice Age, out of big, 3D animated movies, Ice Age has the most movies at 5. Like, like Shrek only had 4, Cars only had 3, and even if you count the spin-offs like the Puss in Boots and the Planes movie, then they only tie Ice Age. And I think Ice Age is getting a 6th movie too. And I think that 6th movie is like a spin-off or whatever. I don't even know. Now that I think about it, I connected more with Ice Age than Toy Story. I don't know. Oh, there's Pizza Planet. Damn, that's good advertising. Look at that logo. I know that's a movie, but like even like if that was real, like Jesus. Whoa, that's a cool entrance. That's a cool way to enter. I assume it just does that to everybody, right? Like, is there anybody that could enter and they'd be like, no, you're not clear to enter? Or do they have to have some sort of ID to get in or whatever? I don't even know. Do they have to have proof that they're able to pay? Because they always thought, like, it's so weird that you have to pay for your restaurant food, but you do it after you've eaten it. It's like there's nothing really stopping you. I know that's like obviously it's illegal, and the idea is that they'd send the cops after you. But what if you did just kind of enter and then just eat the food and then you just ran? Like, would anyone actually stop you? Like, they'd be able to describe you to the police, I guess, but like, you know, there's a little joke video saying like, imagine, people trying to rob banks like in the upcoming years, because now like everyone's wearing a mask. So if they come in wearing a mask, they're just gonna think, oh, it's just, you know, doesn't realize that the pandemic's done, or like it's just continuing whatever, being safe or whatever. Like God, like it's so weird to think that even like if the pandemic does end soon, like people might still just keep wearing masks or whatever. And like, they do help keep you warm, I guess. I don't know. Like who knows? Maybe some good things will come out of it. Who knows? Ready to launch. Buzz, did you forget about Andy? What the hell? Oh, he's going through there. That's so weird. You think the flap door would go the other way, but I guess kids have to like reach in to grab the toy. They can't like reach in and grab up, like that's why it's designed like that. Here is the toy aliens. They're all three-eyed. Do they all have three eyes? I remember that. I remember that thing. That was like the Claw. He's the leader. That was probably the funniest thing ever, especially back in the day. I remember, my dad has a theory that the claw machines never actually work. The claws, like, they just kind of lightly grab the toy, but not enough for you to actually get it. That way it just keeps on taking your loonies and never actually gives you a toy. Because it is kind of weird, what if someone did take all the big toys and it's like then all of a sudden, they'd have to keep refueling it. Oh, great, you're going to be with Sid. Yeah, I found that funny. I remember finding that weird even as a kid. Imagine seeing this. Just a bunch of toy aliens, and then one random token Buzz Lightyear. It's like like you'd think that the place was filled with a bunch of aliens and a bunch of Buzz Lightyears, and just everyone took the Buzz Lightyears. What was that? That seemed kind of pathetic the way that Woody was like, nah. Why is Woody trying to protect him now? He has been chosen. He must go. He literally just entered the place. Oh yeah, and then he says double prize, right? Yeah, there you go. Great. Oh no, he has a skull on his t-shirt. That must be bad. But like, because apparently someone did actually manage to like the claw barely brace the toy, but then it accidentally like hooked on to some part of it, and then it did end up taking the toy. And then she was really excited because it's like, oh my God, I finally got a toy. But then it went over to where it's supposed to drop the toy, but then it didn't actually drop it, and then just carried it back and then dropped it into the pile again. It's like, what the hell? I did once get like a little thing. I remember once when I was a kid, and me, my mom, and dad were somewhere. I think we were on our way to our grandma's place. My grandparents like live like a while away, so we'd always make little pit stops or whatever. And I remember my mom didn't actually want me to use the claw machine, but then she went to use the bathroom, and my dad got me to use it. And I did actually get like it turned out being like a little green Care Bear thing. I didn't know what a Care Bear was, but I was just excited to have a toy. I remember I showed it to my grandpa, and my grandpa looked insanely unimpressed. I just kind of threw it onto the table and said, "Look what I got." And he just kind of stared at it and he was like, "Okay." This was just I think actually the reason why I think the reason why I didn't really like this movie a lot as a kid is because it's so disturbing, especially what Sid does. Like as a kid, like I just hated the idea of being like tortured in this kind of way. I think, but like, like oddly, the thing that I hated wasn't the idea of being crushed or anything like that. The thing that I hated was the idea of being forced to look directly into the sun. Furthermore, when he uses the magnifying glass, I remember like even when I was quote unquote growing up, and by growing up I mean like I think I was like 9 years old, and I was rewatching the movie, and I was thinking, oh, poor little innocent me was scared, and then the magnifying glass came in, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is really disturbing. But as a kid, like I would be like really scared of that. I'd always like, I don't know, is that just a yo-yo? All the little toys are tampered up. Why does Woody have a stick? If Woody was just like an inch over to the left, then the stick would have looked perfectly aligned with that hinge or whatever. He's got a flashlight. Is the flashlight a toy? That looks like an eye. Imagine if the flashlight light blinked because it looks like an eye. I don't know. Oh no. This is an interesting concept, like I have a reason. Like obviously, I think that like what originally pitched this whole idea for the movie, like what made it Toy Story was what if toys came alive when we're not around, or even just what if toys came alive in general. Like who knows what the original idea was? But like then the ideas just kind of expand even in the first movie. It's like, what if you took apart a toy and then stuck part of it onto the parts of another toy? Like, does the toy become like some sort of dysfunctional hybrid? Does the toy like is it able to talk or is it able to like think properly or can it like just only partially communicate? Is it struggling to communicate? Like who knows? They have to work twice as hard because it's hard to play with a toy hybrid. I don't know, whatever. It's like two different toys had a kid in a really messed up way. Are they still looking for Buzz out the frickin' window? Someone named their cat Whiskers? I guess it makes sense, you know. It's not the dumbest name. Not unlike Smudgy. Smudgy's a good name. Before his name was Smudge, his name was originally Ramses. Smudge, don't eat my hot dog. He likes the insides of hot dogs. I'll leave him part of it. Like, geez, man, like Woody was like their boss, and then he gets like a little bit, I hate the word jealous, but like that it was what he was. And then like everyone hates him. Like, geez. I find that very relatable. Because, I don't think that I've ever, like, I never really want to be like the boss of something. I don't really like that kind of pressure. Oh my God, this is where he has the sunlight. It's just like such a little scene, but it's the kind of stuff that can like traumatize a little kid's mind. I think the movie realizes that too, because the way that they're playing. Jesus Christ, like his freaking teeth. I don't mean to make fun of the fact that he has messed up teeth, but like the movie obviously wants us to be scared of it, and I am. Like being betrayed by your whole group because of one thing. Well, if we don't know it's out there, it's gotta be better than that. I feel like that was a joke that might have happened in some sort of Doctor Who thing. Other than again, like, who would say, we gotta be outside, it can't be worse than in here, because in the TARDIS it's cool. Who would think that the TARDIS is some horrible place? I don't think the toys want to eat them. I think that's the twist, isn't it? They don't actually want to eat them, they just want to be set free or be played with properly or whatever. Poor guard dog. Maybe that's why dogs randomly bark at stuff. They're seeing toys move, but the toys are trying to hide from us. Like some sort of Sonic the Hedgehog. Have you seen that movie? Where it's like Sonic's trying to be secret from everyone, but like he's okay being seen by dogs or something. Or at least I think that. I don't know. I think that's something that happens. And obviously, like if someone had to hide from everyone, like every living thing, that'd just be straight up impossible. There's like bugs everywhere. Obviously, there's bacteria, but I don't think bacteria can really see. I always find it weird, like fly vision. Like, what is that? Like, we have two eyes, but we don't see two copies of everything. Do flies actually see 40 copies of everything? And if they do, like, how is that helpful? The dog hasn't even seen the toys yet. If he did, would he like freak out? Does the dog know that toys come to life? Has he seen it before? Because it's not like he could communicate with the other humans about it. He could try, but it wouldn't really work. Where the hell have you been? Bless you. Someone just sneezed in the other room. It is kind of weird, Like, imagine if you thought, like, had memories of being an astronaut your whole life, and then someone tells you that you're a toy. Of course you wouldn't believe them. Although obviously, if you were trapped in some sort of massive kids' room, you probably would think. I don't know. Yeah, because Buzz realizes that he can't actually fly. It's a good thing that commercial happened to be on, otherwise Buzz would be annoying Woody some more. Or rather, Woody would be annoying him. They just kind of annoy each other. They have a weird, convoluted relationship. I know this is an emotional moment and all, but like I remember when I had like there were stairs that were just outside the front door that had like those patterns on it, the weird question mark thing that go upside down and the other way around and stuff like that. Poor Buzz can't fly. Woody was right the whole time. Poor guy. At least you got your helmet to protect you. Oh, jeez. There was kind of the plot hole though of like, if Buzz didn't know that he was a toy, why did he still freeze whenever Andy and other humans came around? Maybe it's just like an automatic thing. Maybe the toys have to, do the toys have to like, is it like kind of a rule that the toys just should follow? How to, like, not one toy ever breaks the rules? Or maybe when they do, the kids are just super loyal and don't reveal their secrets, or maybe just no one believes them. Who knows? But was that a joke there? I didn't catch that with the little girl. Jesus Christ. Buzz might be traumatized. Woody's like, no, poor Buzz. Imagine if Sid came in and saw that. Because yeah, it is weird how they, stereotypes, especially little boys and little girls, play like differently. Like, I hope that like, gender equality and all that makes its mark and all that. It is just kind of sad how there's people on all different ends of the spectrum. There are people out there who think that like a woman should never play the Doctor and Doctor Who ever again, and then there are some people who think that we should only have female actors until we've had a perfect ratio of 13 male actors to 13 female actors. Or like, what the frick? Like, no, just take the person who's best fit for the job. Well, like I was trying to explain to the person how that thinking is wrong. It's like, this is called equality. It's a very simple term. I don't get why. And I'm just like, no, like, the last thing that I said to him that he finally just didn't respond to at all was I said, like, imagine if, like a male actor auditions for the role and he, like, shows how he's perfectly qualified, he loves the show, all that stuff. And then a female actress comes by and she just kind of insults the show and shows like no interest in actually being the character or whatever. And I was saying like, would you still like be so confident in your thinking of having to have the perfect ratio that you would hire the female actress before the male actor just because she's a female? Like that's the opposite of gender equality right there. They're playing freaking Battleship. Does is Battleship Is Battleship a real, like, does it come to, it sounded like I was gonna say is Battleship a real game. Does Battleship, like, come to life? Like, I guess that, it seems like the animators almost wanted to have, like, the ships actually sink into that fake water, but just, that would have been a bit off. So Woody doesn't realize that Buzz is having an existential crisis, and I think Buzz is just kind of insane. Wait, what the hell? Wait, the movie got corrupted a bit. The footage got corrupted a bit there just for a split second. It looked like whenever there's emergency broadcast or whatever, how it's like a bunch of different colorful rectangles. Like it looked like that on the bottom half of the screen, and then it looked like weird ultraviolet backwards colors for a second, and then it went back to normal. Is Buzz trying to get his revenge on Woody by having everyone turn against him, or is he just so depressed that he just can't anything anymore? He threw his arm at him. I think I just saw a ghost in the kitchen. Hey, ghost, can you make the world a little bit better, please? Help out. I'll help out too, I just don't know what to do. We gotta figure out how to communicate, ghost. Oh my god. Really, something screwy here. Is this just like is this the first movie to play around with this concept? I mean, it probably is. How many times have you took your took some guy's arm and showed them just the arm? Now it looks like Woody murdered Buzz, which he essentially did when he threw him out the window. That's almost like attempted murder. Save it for the jury. Was the dog gonna stand help him? Dog was the last one to leave. I feel like should I be saying, "Oh, Woody, well then you shouldn't have been such a jerk." Like, mate, you can't really blame him, man. You expect him to be perfect. This is where the toys reveal that they're actually good. In the Among Us But a Reality Show fan video, the first one, there's Black is trying to prove that he's not the imposter to Orange, but he does that by standing in a door menacingly and then walking towards him. It's like, why was he doing that? I know that he's not permitted to talk, but all the characters just kind of break that rule eventually. Oh yeah, see, they fixed it. That's kind of like a Home Alone 2 callback there. Home Alone 2 came out before Toy Story. I remember, I didn't really get how other movies could reference other movies, and I remember there was some show out there like a father loses his memory of his daughter or whatever, but then he saves her in the end or whatever, and it's like I don't know, it was something along those lines. And but I remember near the beginning of the movie when he's going away, he tells a little girl how toys come to life when you're out of the room, and I was just like, wait a minute, that's like Toy Story. And my mom was like, yeah. I didn't realize that it was just a reference. The big one. Damn, boy. What is that? What? Wait, is he gonna? What is it? I don't know what that is. Jesus, imagine if Woody just kind of fell out. I'd be like, how did he stay there? It's a good thing his arm was fixed, otherwise it would have been like, hey, sister, you broke my toy's arm. In the Cosmonaut Varieties Hours video of Batman v Superman, he says why does Superman call his mother by his first name? Well, mate, because he's trying to tell Batman to go save her. How's Batman gonna know who to save if he just says my mom? Batman's gonna be like, your alien mom, I'll go kill her too. It's not no killing if it's an alien, although Batman just kills everyone in that movie. But it's I do get it. Like you always say mom or dad, but if you're trying to tell someone to save someone, of course you call them by their actual name. And when's the last time that you ever called your brother or sister, you called them brother or sister? I guess you could call them bro and sis, but I don't think like when I had step siblings, we just called each other by our first names. Yeah, see, Woody came first. She said Woody before Buzz. If I were the mom, I would be pretty worried. I'd be like, oh my God, what if we can't find Woody and Buzz? Although maybe she's just confident that they couldn't have gone all the way to Sid's house or something like that. At least Sid's gonna be, they must be happy that Sid isn't gonna be in the other room. Now they're gonna be like, how'd a bunch of cotton come out of the box? It does, it doesn't really make much sense, like, as much as I always like to entertain the idea that maybe this is true and maybe toys do come to life, but like, there'd be so many flaws with that. They'd have to be so perfectly stealthy ninjas. Either that or our human brains are just so pathetic in its ability to notice stuff like that. I don't know. Like, the toys just threw a bunch of the weird white stuff out of the box. Are they not going to notice that? Or were they already like a few and they just added like three, so it's like not really much to notice about? I don't know. Like, how do toys know if they've done enough or whatever? Is Buzz mad at Woody? All that Woody did was tell him the truth. And I guess throw him out the window. I feel like I should go back and see Woody throw him out the window just so that I know what the heck happened. It's 12:34 where I'm filming this, so make a wish, everybody, through the audio of this. I don't know, whatever. Sid's house sucks because I saw a commercial. Yeah, toys are not insignificant. Yeah, it's not just your toy. He considers you the greatest toy, mate. Even better than freaking Woody. Yeah, do you not know how toys and kids work? Like, I know that, like, there's all this argumentation. Like, you know, now it's like we're not trying to shame people for not growing up or whatever. People are all like, oh, adults are whatever. I don't even know. Yeah, exactly. Like people are like, they're not toys, they're action figures, and then people make fun of that. But it's like, I mean, it is kind of true. There is kind of a difference between toys and action figures, kind of. I mean, action figures kind of just stand there. But I guess if you play with action figures in the same way that you do toys, then they are just kind of the same thing. But like, who cares? Just let people do what they want. You listen to you, mate. Jesus. Yeah, there you go. Was it raining last night? The raindrops are kind of aligned like a grid, except for that one that gave up and slid down. I guess ever heard of that kid show Charlie and Lola? And there's that little thing where they tried to make a game out of it when they were bored in the rain, and they were just like they would like pick two raindrops that were sliding down the patio and see which one made it down. I feel like that game would get boring eventually, but as a kid, you just find everything fascinating. You could stare at a lava lamp for hours and not get bored. Or maybe hours is a bit over exaggerated. As a kid, a really little kid, a 1 minute timeout was considered forever. Nowadays, like, could you imagine? Could you imagine if like the worst punishment that we got was like a 5 minute timeout? Like, Jesus, man, we would just do whatever we want. Technically, jail like is a timeout, but it's like extreme and cruel and I don't know. I don't agree with the idea of jail. It's just kind of hell, but slightly better. I mean, infinitely better because hell is literally being tortured to the highest extent possible and more. And Woody just, oh, I thought Woody would have hurt his hand. I guess toys don't really have nerves. I guess that's how he survived and wasn't traumatized by looking at the sun forever. Or maybe he's just like, he doesn't have time to be traumatized. Something happened to Buzz when he was traumatized. He just freaking didn't do anything. Woody knows that they're on his side now. Well, if they can be on the same side anyway, they want the same thing for Sid to be gone. Doesn't he call one of them legs because they're literally just a pair of legs attached to some sort of wheel or something? Baby spider. Yeah, the rest of your friends abandoned you, man. What's that guy, the head on the weird red thing with the roly thing? What's the duck on a guy's body? That just looks cool. Is that Howard the Duck before its time? The Howard the Duck had already been out by then. But it wasn't really considered MCU content yet. The MCU hadn't even started yet. Wouldn't even start for 13 years. That is weird to think that over the course of 13 years we went from Toy Story to Iron Man. I guess that is like, sorry, I don't know what I was saying. So I feel like Iron Man's like a much more higher budget movie than this, but like, in comparison, this probably is like a really higher budget movie. This was probably one of the highest budget movies of its time. I don't know. I just feel like, because it was like 3D animation. Like I said, it was the thing that kickstarted that whole thing. Duck and legs working together. It would have been funny if Woody called the duck Howard. It would have been like a fun little Easter egg. But then I think like the MCU might have thought like, that's a little bit suspicious. We should maybe sue them because we're not making any money off of our movies anyway. Especially if Woody called the duck Howard, but called everyone like little names that was detailed the way that they are. Although technically Howard is kind of detailed to the fact that he's a duck because it's Howard the Duck. But that's the point is that the sorry. I feel like sometimes I just like say like a whole bunch of stuff. Like my brain just goes from one thought to another thought to another thought, and then in the process, I feel like anyone who might be listening is just gonna be like, "Sure, man, I don't even know what you're talking about." He's trying to hit the doorbell. What the hell? No one out on the other side of the street is saying this. Jesus. Oh, she's gonna think that's a prank by Sid because the duck is just there, or does she not even see the duck? She's gonna think that the dog ate the toys. Oh, you just shut the dog out. That looked like a sucker. Like what was that on the roof? Looked like a mini light bulb, but it also looked like a weird thing that babies suck on. I don't know. Soother or whatever it's called. Or the matches, like Jesus. I remember when my grandma was teaching me how matches work, and I remember once, like, I had a match and then I accidentally dropped it onto the counter, and my grandma just quickly slapped it and put it out instantly. It's like, jeez. I always think, like, I'm always scared, like, if a lamp is turned on and if we knock it over and it smashes onto the ground, could it start a fire? Or, like, would it almost certainly start a fire? Like, that's scary. I'd, like, instantly, like, jump to the floor and try to put it out by just rolling over it or whatever. Stop, drop, and roll thing. I'd probably die, but, it just, you know, might as well try. Or who knows, maybe I'd run away. I don't know, whatever. Who knows what you'd actually do? It's like the trolley problem, if you have 20 minutes to think about it. But like if you were actually in the moment and you only had a few seconds to react, what would you actually do? That's what Vsauce tried with the Minefield thing. Minefield season 2, episode 1, he'd made the trolley problem real life. Although he made it, of course, kind of a video simulation because he couldn't actually put humans in danger. That would be illegal. But, and they did good because out of the 7 people that they tested, only one of them had a psychological breakdown. Wait, what was their plan here? This seems like really fast paced. We're already at the climax, aren't we? Here's your comeuppance, Sid. Oh, the alien's there too. What do you think of being chosen now? I always found it weird as a kid, because it almost seems like the toys haven't actually technically revealed their secret. It looks almost as if like they could have just been wound up by the parents or whatever. That's just creepy, man. There we go. That's where Woody finally broke it. Of course, the only kid in the entire world that gets to know the toys are alive is freaking Sid. Girl thinks that he's tricking her. Huh. Oh, that was their idea? Yeah, I mean, I doubt they had much time to plan. I see they didn't even find Woody and Buzz, freaking liar parents. It's kind of weird, like how this movie was like, as a kid, especially back in the day, you'd have a VHS of this and you just watch it over and over again. But nowadays with Disney Plus, this is just one of the many, 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 many things on it. Let's keep getting at it. Do they take stuff away? I hope not. Wasn't it like DC Universe? As soon as they broadcasted it, they had the first four Batman movies on it, but that was just because it happened to be Batman month and they were going to be taken away at the end of the month. It was like, what the heck? What kind of streaming service does that? They just put some stuff, but they're like, oh, by the way, these movies are going to be taken off after a month because it's exclusive to Batman month. Like, mate, you just started your streaming service. Why are you doing these month things? I don't know. What happened to DC Universe? Is it still around? I saw like a video saying goodbye DC Universe, or maybe that was just the guy giving up on it himself. Like, see, like there's got to be people in these houses on the street that are seeing these toys, but are just like, whatever. It's probably just a trick or some sort of Halloween thing or whatever. I know that, it's probably nowhere near Halloween. It's probably like freaking July or something. But like, like I was driving down the street and I see like people like doing little elves, like they have little like elf legs on their trunk, so it looks like the elf legs are like sticking out of the trunk. Looks like they kidnapped an elf. Like that's more of a Halloween decoration than a Christmas decoration, if we're being honest. Oh geez. Oh no, wait, that's the moving van, isn't it? The moving van's following the car. I was thinking, oh, they have to make it to the next car. Yeah, there we go. Just show yourself to Andy now so that he doesn't freak out and think that you're gone forever. He does think that you're gone forever now. Or maybe he's hoping that you'll make it back or whatever. I remember, as a kid, I was watching this and I was like, I couldn't imagine the idea of moving house. Like, Jesus. Yeah, what is he doing? He killed another toy. He's just a flat out maniac. It looks like Woody's laughing like a maniac. Oh, this is cool, kinda. Although, just because of Woody spinning around doesn't mean that the car should be. Like, is he even activating the? Or maybe he's forcing his hand onto the controller, but even he should have realized that the car would be. Although maybe he was only spinning for a few seconds. I don't know. Ooh, mate. Yeah, the cars would barely notice that. Okay, maybe not because they just had an accident. Like, yeah, man, there was a toy car going down the road and I didn't want to hit it. Or no, there was a dog too. Didn't something similar happen in Toy Story 2, except much more extreme? It was like there were cars everywhere. I was thinking, like, God, could you imagine being in a traffic accident as bad as that? In Toy Story 1, that kind of looks. I think in Toy Story 2, there were literally like cars like covering every square inch of the road, but they were all just randomly organized. It looked like Toy Story. It looked like Woody like flopped over there for a second. To like be like an inanimate toy just for the car to run over it. Wait, did Woody get tossed? I don't know. This movie is so fast paced, man. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I like movies that are fast paced, but like, geez, man. Yay, we got rid of the Woody. Yeah, you idiot. The frick? Exactly, frickers. You thought wrong, mate. It's always so like sad when like, sometimes you get a little bit confident, like and cocky a bit, and then you think that you're always right, and then when you're finally wrong, then the person can be like kind of angry at you, and they're like, "Yeah, well, you thought wrong." Yes, that happened to me. Now you want to help Woody now that he's proven that he's helping freaking Buzz, you idiot. Oh, the car runs on batteries. I guess of course it does, yeah. It is weird because I feel like that's the kind of thing that would happen, Like you'd pack a toy and it'd have like a little bit of batteries left, and then when you get there, it's like the batteries are out, and it's like, oh, that's weird. They must have run out somehow on the way, or maybe this kind of stuff was happening. Who knows? It is weird because like even in like Smosh, that YouTube channel, that's kind of strange now. I mean, it was always strange. Like, wasn't it Fubao 2008 where it's like Anthony has a VHS copy of Toy Story, and his dad's like, it's not real, right? And he's like, shut up, it is too. That was just Toy Story 1. Jesus. Well, Sid's a villain. He never gets to help, even unintentionally, in the most weird way. What was he even planning to do? Was he planning to start up a toy motor or something? Wait, is Buzz gonna get to fly somehow in a weird roundabout way? What? What's going on? Oh. What? Oh my god. I still don't know what that rocket thing is. Well, what did you think was gonna happen, mate? It's always so weird when you're driving down the road and say like there's a car in front of you, like say when you're on the highway and then the car in front of you slows down for a bit. So like you take your foot off the gas. But you're like, do you have to put your foot on the brake too, or is the car like speeding up again to the point that you might just barely not hit it? So that's probably not something that you'd want to test. I don't know. It's just the weird parts of driving. It is weird to think, like, once self-driving cars become the thing that like everyone has, like, who knows? Like, are they even going to bother making cars that you can work manually? Like, even automatic cars? Because, like, once self-driving cars become, like, something that the general public all have, then driving a car, quote unquote, the old-fashioned way will be considered extremely dangerous. Nowadays everyone's saying that self-driving cars is the dangerous one, but once self-driving cars have proven themselves as efficient, it's going to be like no one's going to want to drive them manually anymore. It's like no one's going to have a driver's license anymore. It's weird. Just fall into the bog. What the hell? Like it's just like what the frick? They just popped out of nowhere. Exactly. See, like I feel like a lot of like I think like so much of the like like you could complain about this movie all the time and say why do people never realize that the toys are alive? Well, it all comes down to the fact that parents just don't give a crap. They don't keep track of toys like that. Like what the hell? Now it's freaking Christmas. What the heck? Oh, okay. Because last time was the birthday and now it's Christmas. I feel bad for people who have their birthdays really close to Christmas. You know, props to anyone who has their birthdays on like June 27th, because I think that's like, so it really is just right down the half of the year or whatever. I don't know. Would that be June 25th? I don't know. One of my cousins has a birthday on June 30th. I don't know. The hell? Wait, Bo Peep has sheep? Was that a three-headed sheep? Or was it three separate sheep? Or was it three separate sheep that were kind of mushed together as a toy hybrid? Oh my God. That was funny. I better shave. He just takes off his toy mustache. Because I remember I have a Mr. Potato Head somewhere in the basement, but all that it is just the potato, shoes, eyes, uh, nose, mouth, ears, and that's it. And I think a hat. But Mrs. Potato Head, I got a Mrs. Potato Head because I figured that I had to because it's Toy Story. But Mrs. Potato Head has so many accessories. Wait, what the heck? Okay, whatever. I don't know what that joke at the end was. Yeah, that's Disney Plus. They're like, you might because you watched Toy Story, maybe you'd like Toy Story 2. It's like, geez, mate, do you think? Okay, yeah. I feel weird. I feel like that was almost a disadvantage on its part, the fact that it was only 90 minutes, or not even. It was an hour and 21 minutes, rather than the other ones which have been 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That just felt super fast paced in comparison. Hi, it's the "You Got a Friend in Me" song. It's weird how as soon as the credits start rolling, it just miniaturizes to one side, and it's like, hey, now watch Toy Story 2. Keep watching stuff. I guess I gotta rate this movie now. Did I do that for Jurassic Park? I can't even remember. Okay, so I feel weird doing this because I feel like I'm not even like, I mean, like, I definitely am not like officially qualified to be like criticizing movies in this fashion, but this is just my own little opinion. I don't know, like, it just feels so awkward because right now I'm just kind of watching movies that are kind of considered to be the most iconic. Like, obviously, writing was good. Writing, is it a 10? I don't know. I'll give it freaking 9.2. That sounds about right. Directing, there were no problems with the directing. Directing was great, 10. Uh, Acting, the acting was good. I'll give acting a 10, frick it. And music is like, I don't know. Like, obviously this "You Got a Friend in Me" song is iconic, but I think the rest were kind of like, I don't think that there's iconic Toy Story music. I think it was just kind of regular. So I'll give it like an 8.5, I guess, for the music, because I feel like 10 is a bit high, 9 is a bit high, but I feel like 8 is a bit low. So whatever. Okay. 37.7 divided by 4. Average rating for this movie is, oh, Jesus, 9.425. See, mate, I know what I'm doing. I just gave Toy Story a 9.425 out of 10. It's good enough in my books, I think. I don't know, who cares? All right. Well, that was Toy Story. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of making my little slowly through every movie that's ever existed. um, yeah. So, let me know what you think down below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Give this video a dislike if you didn't. Let me know why in the comments. And subscribe so that you know when my next video comes out. And leave a comment down below on what movie you'd like me to do next if there is one. Thanks guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye bye. This was a 52-minute long thing. I just have confidence that if it corrupts, it'll just automatically save it like it did in the first one. It says me right before it corrupts and doesn't save. Okay, whatever. I'll just stop it now. Bye bye. Testing, testing. Uno, dos, tres. Hello. And starting in now. Alright, so, room is falling apart.